YouTube, what's happening? It is Saturday, July 6th. As you can see, we have a full slate of baseball to talk about today. Drop a like, subscribe, and share to people you know that are paying for picks. Who is still paying for picks in 2024 when all these people, including myself, are out here doing this for free? I don't know, something wrong with those people. Either way, do that. We have a recap. Yesterday, hey, 7-8 wasn't the best day. It could have been better. Hey, it could have been worse. I'll take a minus 1.8 all day. We're still at 4 for the week, 35 for the last 30 days, and still up 79 for the season. That's all that matters. So you can see how some of the things went. Some of the things were wild. Some things were lucky, but the day's over. We move on. It's a new day. So let's go ahead and jump into that first game right now. All right, first up, we got Boston and New York. We got Winkowski versus Cole. We got a 46% Nerfy. We'll talk about that. Looking at the odds, for some reason, New York is a hefty favorite at almost 200 across some of these places. Not 190, 198. Whoa. Either way, 9.5 for your totals out there. Looking at the bats, we see that Boston has been 5-game winning streak, New York 4-game losing streak. We could see 6 runs a game for Boston in their last 3 for 6, while batting 231 for 18th. New York, not as good. 3 runs a game for 23rd, 180 batting average for 27th. You're down there with the White Sox and the Miamis of the world, New York. What are you doing? Them fans ain't gonna like that. You hanging out with the wrong group of people. So you need to fix that, because you've been in the bottom 6 in batting average for the past 2 weeks straight. You need to clean up your act, change ways, and come back to where you think you're supposed to be. So the only thing that really stands out here is Boston has the batting average, the batting advantage, obviously with their runs and their average, but they are striking out a ton. 12.3 strikeouts a game in the last 3 for 29th. They struck out 12 times yesterday. They're facing Cole now. His prop is 6.5. We can pop over to Outlier. I can show you. If you don't know what Outlier is, this is who I partner with. There's a free trial in the description. Check it out. You can access all this software. It gives you a ton of data, probably too much data, because I like data. And I like companies that give me data to use, and I get to use this to figure out props. So he's only had 3 games this year. 6.5 is total. For K's, it's a high number. He hasn't hit it yet. So people are going to take it at that. I know they are, but I don't know. But overall, we see New York doesn't strike out either. So the question is, where are we going to take in this game? Props, I'm not going to mess with, because as you can see, Cole only has 3 games. I need more sample. I am a trend better. I need my sample sizes to be bigger. I need at least 4 or 5 games. I need to see a consistent trend, because you can see with his pitching, yeah, this is what he's done. Same with Winkowski. I don't count none of these, because this was back in early May, and he's only one inning. I don't count that. I want to know what you've done lately. What have you done for me lately, Eddie? This is right here. So 5 innings, 4, 6-2. Yeah, great numbers. He looks like a decent pitcher. Cole looks like he's getting back to his, outside this one game against the Mets. He might be him old self. So I'm not taking any props in this one. If anything, I think I'm going to take the Nerfy, because both pitchers seem to be pretty decent. We know New York's bats are pretty bad. Boston bats are downtrending. 18th in batting average, 21 yesterday at 205. That might be indicative of not scoring a run in the first inning. So I think I'm going to take a Nerfy. And look, it's the first game of the day. It's Saturday. I don't have to work today, so I get to watch most of these games. Sign me up. I'm going to watch a lot of games. I'm going to have more bets than usual. So buckle in for that one, buddy, because it's going to be a wild ride today. So we're taking the Nerfy for sure. How much do I want to gamble is the question, because I don't trust New York at all. I think Boston's better. I don't care if Cole's pitching. I don't care. Bats are bats. You got to score runs. The offense wins games in baseball. You got to be able to score, because Cole ain't pitching the whole 9 innings. I don't care. So seeing these numbers and seeing Boston's doing better and New York choked away last night, I want to roll the dice. I want to have a little fun. Do I take Boston money line, or do I take Boston run line plus 1.5? Because plus 1.5 looks pretty nice. You know what? We'll take the plus 1.5. Plus 1.5 today. We're not going to do too crazy. So, because you can get out there plus 1.5 all the way down to 125 right now. Yeah. I just don't trust the Yankees. I think Coleman is going to get no help today. I think the Boston bats can do things. So give me the Nerfy and Boston plus 1.5, and let's move on to the next game. Next up, we got Houston and Minnesota. We got Brown, who's been pitching like a madman, versus Ryan, 6-5 and 5-5. Nerfy, we'll see. Maybe. There might be a lot of Nerfies today. I don't know. We'll see. Stats, we see Minnesota is slightly favored at home, 7.5 across the board for the totals. Looking at the bats, we see a lot of single digits, especially after last night's epic 13-12 game. Numbers only Iowa football could dream of seeing in a game we had in Minnesota last night. We have Houston 9 runs a game in their last 3 for second, Minnesota 8.7 runs a game for third. Houston's batting 316, Minnesota's batting 358. The bats are not even on fire. They're swinging lava sticks out there. That's all they're doing. So strikeouts doesn't matter when you're doing this. So let's look at the pitching because the bats are on fire. The over under 7.5 and the bats are this hot. I mean, hold on. Let me just type in over 7.5. Okay, next. Let's see. It's one of these auto bets. When the numbers are this high, show me you can shut the bats down. I don't know if both teams have Cy Youngs out there that can stop these bats right now because they're just that hot. So, but we'll look at the pitchers anyway because Hunter Brown has been beasting. Let's be honest. Look at the number. You can see what he's done. Dude has just been awesome. That's just what he is. But his last time he got touched up was 3 runs for him getting touched up was against Minnesota. I mean, that was June 2nd. That was a month ago. I almost forgot it was July for a second. I was like, wait a minute, why June? What? So anyway, you can see though, he has been on a tear, but look, he's on a tear, but let's look at his opponents he's been on a tear against. A little grain of salt for you. It was the Angels who at this time were bottom half in batting average. Detroit was in bottom 5 in batting average. White Sox, we know where they hang out at. Colorado, we know where they hang out at. And Toronto, the Toronto in the past week, I mean, we can look at that here. We'll see Toronto here shortly. So, I mean, yeah, good numbers, but not against the best competition. So let's take a grain of salt. Minnesota was his best competition probably. So, because Minnesota this time is hot. So, and they're hot again. So, Joe Ryan, on the other hand, you can see has faced Houston, and he got rough. He got taken outside and beaten like a rug. Just the dirt got knocked up on the 8. So you can see he gives up more runs. So clearly Houston's got the advantage in the pitching just because you can see, because his stats, Arizona, touched him up. Tampa Bay, Oakland got you? Come on, you can't let the A's get you, bro. So, okay. So, yeah. So we have no advantage in the offense because both bats are absolutely on fire. Both trend lines are curling out of the screen on every stat. You can see, and I say Hunter Brown's better he's probably slightly better. He's not like, oh, he's so much better than John. No, he's slightly better. Joe Ryan's a great pitcher. I like Joe Ryan. So overall, these aren't bad numbers. I mean, yeah, he got touched against Houston, but then Arizona. But other than that, if you're going giving up 1 or 2 a game, great. We like that. Okay, so what are we going to say? Are we taking a nerfy with these 2 off? With these offenses? Hell no. I could never. That's a hard pass. I am going to take that over 7.5 though, because you're getting over 7.5. I don't care how good the pitchers are. When you got the bats for this good, these are team averages. The team, all 9 dudes are batting 358 as a team, 316 as a team. It ain't just one dude on fire. It's 9 dudes on fire. So yeah. Good luck shutting them down. If you shut them down, by all means, take my unit. I congratulate you. I bow before you. So, hey, whatever. I'm taking over 7.5. Do I want to take a side? No. No. Like I said, Hunter Brown's slightly better. The bats are about the same. Not enough for me to really worry about a side. So I am going to look at some outliers. We're going to look at some props to see if anything stands out. So hits wise, we're going to start with Hunter. You can see hits 5.5. Against offense, I don't think so. I know. Strikeouts, neither team is a strikeout machine right now, so we're not really worried about that. Earned runs, maybe, but I think nothing stands out for this one. Let's pop over to Joe. Earned runs, no. Strikeouts, not really. Hits, no. We're going to pass the props. So all we're going to do is we're going to take this over 7.5 and just hope we have another of these 12, 13 type games from yesterday and move on to the next game. All right, next game, we got the Angels and the Cubs. We got Anderson, 7-8 versus Hendricks, 1-6. Nerfy, 59%? Maybe. We'll see. Odds. We see Cubs are moderately favored at home. We get 8.5 across the board for the total. Looking at the bats, we see that Angels are getting 0.3 runs in their last 3 games for 30th, while they got a run yesterday. Hey, that's how they get their run. They're batting a smooth 122, which still is somehow not the worst in the majors, surprisingly. 122 as a team. These are professional athletes out here. And 122 in the last 3 games, including a .067 yesterday. So, and 7.3 strikeouts. So they're not striking out. They just can't do anything with their bats. So the Cubs, 6 runs a game for 6. They're batting 291 for 6. We have a massive advantage for Cubs in the offense here. The Cubs offense is clicking right now. So, yeah, clear advantage there. Let's look over the pitches. Anderson got destroyed against Detroit last game. Just not good. And then Houston got him. Oakland, you let another pitcher let an Oakland touch you up? That ain't good. So you can see the stats here. Has not faced the Cubs recently, so that's not a thing to worry about. Hendricks, on the other hand, there it is. There's that Milwaukee number. Sometimes you see some big numbers, it's usually on Milwaukee next to it, and there it is. 5-2, 4-1. Other than that, he was good until then, but he has not faced the Angels. So what we have here, we have 2 pitchers that are prone to give up runs. We have one offense that's on fire. One offense is, I could probably put them in my drink to keep my drink cold all day next to the pool because they're that cold right now. So yeah, we have advantage Cubs. Pitching advantage, who's the better pitcher of the 2? To be honest, I mean, you could just let me pull them out one of a bag and I'll take you the one. They're about the same to me. So far, am I taking a Nerfy? No, not with these pitchers. I can't do that. Sorry. Look at these numbers. So the last game they both pitched was a combined 13 earned runs. Can't. Sorry. Do I want to take the side? Cubs, because their offense is pretty good right now. I do like the Cub money line. I'm not going to go crazy with the 1.5 today because the pitching matchup isn't that. There's not much of a difference in pitching. Total 8.5. I can't do either way because I don't trust the Angels to help it over. I don't trust the Cubs to help it under. So we leave the total alone. Last thing is, do we want to take any props? Let's see. We got Tyler over here. 5.5 is a hits prop going against the hot Cubs. Strikeouts, no. Earned runs, perhaps, because he is facing the Cubs. 2.5. Is juiced to 145. That's kind of high. I think I'm gonna pass on that. And his hits was 5, and that's about even money. No, let's look at Hendricks, see what he's up to. Earned runs over 1.5, and he has. That is crazy. Why is this so? Oh, because it's the Angels. No, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Sorry. Even though, wow, he has given up a lot of earned runs, but still, no. K's can't do it. There's no props really stand out in this one, so we're going to pass on the props. Only thing we're really going to look at is I'm going to take the Cubs in the money line because, I'm not going to take a run line because now we're getting to the plus 140s. Yeah, Cubs money line. They'll probably go in a money line parlay at the end. We're not going to take anything else and move on to the next game. All right, next up, we got the Mets and the Pirates. Peterson, 3-0 against Falter, 4-6. Nerfy, like I said, we'll talk about it maybe with these teams. Odds, we can see that the Mets are slightly favored on the road to moderately favored. Totals are 9s and 9.5 out there, so we have some movement. Bats, there's a difference here. So the Mets are only 2.3 runs a game for 28. Remember when the Mets were on fire? It was the Grimace era. Grimace has been buried. There's a headstone. There's dirt, and the flowers are already starting to be planted. Yeah, Grimace is done. You can see they lost 3 in a row now. 2.3 runs a game in the last 3 for 28th. Only batting 122 for 29th. Not good. You hanging out with the Yankees now. You don't want to be in the same category with them. Ugh. 9.3 strikeouts in the game for the last 3 for 20th. Pittsburgh, 7 runs a game in the last 3 for 4th, including 14 yesterday. That is going to influence that number, obviously. But hey, 14, you got. They ran out of fireworks. They hit so many home runs yesterday. That was hilarious. They are batting 318 as a team for 4th, including they batted 432 last night. What? That is insane to have 9 dudes come across and just as a team bat that well. That is crazy. So, strikeout 6.3 for 5th. So yeah, Pittsburgh, they're rolling. The bats are good. The Mets are struggling. It's like the other game. The Mets can go on my drink. They can keep the drink nice and chilled because they're so cold as a team. I can put Pittsburgh, cook my food next to them. They're so hot. So looking at the pitchers, see if we got something that stands out here. We got Mr. Falter here, 387, 114, has not faced the Mets. recently 8.5, 8.3. Dude gives up runs. That's the first thing I see when I see him is he gives up runs. He doesn't pitch many innings because he gives up runs, which means the bullpen comes in, and we know Pittsburgh's bullpen isn't that good. So, which I am working on getting bullpen stats factored in. I'm going to revamp some of the screens this weekend. So like this screen, we're going to probably take the pitchers off and or we're going to move pitchers to their own thing, and Nerfy and some other things will have its own space, and move some things around, but you get it. So either way, back to this. So we have, you can see he gives up runs. That's the first thing I see. His counterpart for Peterson, he not bad. I would say his numbers are better. He still gets some runs, but his numbers are better overall. So I would say Peterson has a slight advantage here, but Pittsburgh has the advantage of the bats, and the odds are Pittsburgh as underdogs. Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, we're taking a Pitt money line on this one, plus 114, plus 110, plus show me the Mets can win a game, because right now I think they're targeting the way the numbers are. I think they're targeting your casual weekend bettor who got paid yesterday. They said, "Oh, who's playing? The Mets? Yeah, let me bet on them." That's exactly what they're doing, because that's a thing they do. You got to pay attention to that. They look, name on jersey is popular for casuals out there. So trust me, I was 21 once. I was a casual when I was 21. I was betting only on the big names, and I got broke real quick. So I'm 38 now. We learned our lessons many times over. So Pittsburgh money line. We are not going to take a total, because just like the last game, I can't trust the Mets to help with it over. I can't trust Pittsburgh to help with it under, so I can't take a total. Do I want to take a prop? Let's see. Peterson. Let's look. Earned runs. I like to set everything to over, so it looks good. Over. Ks. Neither team is really striking out, so nah, I'm not going to look at strikeout props. Hits. I want a team that's in the bottom like 5 or 6. They've been striking out a ton before I take them. Kind of like Boston was, like you saw. Yeah, I want something like that. So nothing stands out there. Hits, no, nothing really. I mean, Pittsburgh's on fire, but 5.5 hits. I don't know if they get 6 hits. They hit a lot yesterday. I don't know. I think I'm going to pass on the props again on this one. I think all we're going to do is take the Pittsburgh money line. That's plus money already. So yeah, we'll rock with the money line and move on to the next game. Next up, St. Louis and Washington. Somehow I avoided Corbin pitching a great game. It was 5-0 Washington, and somehow St. Louis stormed back and took the win somehow to hit the money line parlay. I love it. I will take it either way. But now we have our next battle, our next opponent, if you will. Now we have Lance Lynn. He's the number of my 3 nemesis, as I will call them, because they're the only 2. We were so close to having a Corbin versus Lance Lynn game. That game would have broke my mind. I would have had to I had to take PTO from this. I don't know if I can do it. So Lance Lynn today against Gore, 4-3 versus 6-7. Nerfy 64.9. Not what Lance Lynn pitched, and you've seen what he can do in the past. Odds, we have Washington as a slightly favored at home, 9s with 1.5 out there. Looking at the bets, we see they are deadlocked at 4.7 for 13th, 274 and 275. They're the same team apparently offensively. 7.3, 5.3. They're both in the top 8 in strikeouts too. So the offenses are literally the same. No difference. So we got to see if the pitchers are the difference. Oh, let's start with our boy Lance Lynn. He had a gem against Cincy. He had a great game against Atlanta. He had a game against Miami. Let's call it a game. Let's call it that. 4-3 against Pitt, 6-4 against Colorado, 3-0 against Philly. So he had this terrible, awful, trash, garbage game here against Miami, and it was Miami of all teams that did this. And then he comes back with a vengeance, and this shows what he can do when he wants to. So now he's facing Washington, Washington's bats are middle of the road. So I don't know. This one, then we got Gore on this end, who he's been roughed up by the Mets. And then you could see he hasn't faced St. Louis recently. 9-4, 5-5, 5-1. I don't know which way to take. I couldn't tell you on an over-under, because they both have games where they've been pitching great, but they also have blow-ups. The side, I couldn't tell you. 2, me personally, Lance Lynn's pitching, and he's one of my no bets. I went against my no bet yesterday. I bet on a game involving Corbin and almost lost. So we're not going to touch it. So for me personally, I'm just going to lay off this game completely. You can play it if you want to. Me personally, I'm going to lay off it. There's 14 other games to pick from. I'm going to move on to the next one. All right, next we got Tampa Bay and Texas. We got Bradley 3-4 against Haney 3-9. Nerfy 47.9. Maybe with these pitchers. We'll see how they've been doing. Odds. Pick them across the board. Total 8.5 with 1.5. I mean, 8 with 1.5 out there. Bats, we can see 4 runs for Tampa in their last 3 for 16th, including nothing yesterday. 229 average for 19th. Texas 2.7 for 26, 255 average for 16th. So Texas and Tampa are Texas slightly better in batting average. Tampa slightly better in runs. They're both striking out 9 times a game in the last 3. So nothing's really it's just all just middle of the road. That's all it is. So the only thing is Texas is only getting 2.7 runs for 26. So this tells me it might be lower scoring. So looking over at the pitchers, we got Bradley here, who has not faced Texas recently, but you can see he had a 999 against Baltimore, 3-0 against Washington, 2-1 against Seattle, struck out 8 because it's Seattle, 7-2 against Minnesota, 3-0, 3-1. So he had a really bad game and then bounced back to have really good games. Now he's facing Texas, who, as you see, 2.7 runs and 255 average. Not a bad matchup for him. Haney, on the other hand, you can see has not faced Tampa Bay. Hasn't had a blow-up game, but had a great game against Miami, but then 5-3, 6-3, 4-3, 6-2, 5-2. He is consistent. That's what we like to see. We know he's going to give up a couple runs. That's what he does. That's his thing. So, to me, I would say Bradley slightly better. The bats, I would say they're about the same. Nothing stands out. The odds are a pick 'em for a reason. Let's look at I'm not going to take a nerfy in this one because of the pitching and the bats. I'm not going to take a side because I don't really know who. No one really stands out to be the better one here. I'm not going to take a total because nothing stands out here. Let's look over at the outliers, see if there's any props we're taking. Earned runs 2.5 for Haney. He does 2 or 3 runs a game. That makes sense. So you can see, I need some advantages. K's, Tampa Bay is not striking out much. Hits, I mean, they're pushing it. He's won over most of these games, but this might be a play, but I'm trying not to be too aggressive. But looking over Tampa's bats, they are batting 229, and they batted 100 in their last game. Ugh, no. Oh, no, hell no. Y'all up and done it. I can't do it. Bradley, on the other hand, earned runs over. He had a 9-game outside of that. K's. I mean, he strikes out a lot, but Texas, his 9 strikeouts a game for 17th. They're average around 10th. They don't strike out much. They're top 10. Do I want them 5.5 though? That's a number. What's the juice on it? We're looking at it's about 120 everywhere you look. First one's Prize Picks. So you can see. You know what? I might take a Bradley strikeout here. 5.5 with that juice. Yeah, we're gonna go over 5.5 for Bradley strikeouts. Other than that, I don't like anything else in this one. So we're gonna say over 5.5 Bradley strikeouts and move to the next game. All right, next up we got Baltimore and Oakland. Yesterday I might have been a little overzealous. Maybe I was. I jumped into this. I said, "Oh, I'm taking it. I've been waiting on it all year." I didn't do any. You saw. I didn't look at it. I didn't dive into the pitching. I just said, "I'm taking it," and I took it. And what happened? They both scored in the first inning. So. We can't do that again. We got to look a little deeper when we take it. So Povich is going up against Medina, 72.4. That's what they've done this year. You can see. So Baltimore's hit the Nerfy in the first inning, 88.1% of the games. You do it one game, it dropped it from 90 to 88. So wow. Oakland has hit the Nerfy 82% of their home games. So 72.4 based on what they've done this year. So let's look at the odds a little closer. Baltimore's a pretty heavy favor on the road. Totals 9s, 8.5s out there. Bats, you can see 3.3 runs for Baltimore for 21st. Oakland 4 for 16th. Baltimore 233 average for 17th. Oakland 211 for 23rd. They're both in the bottom half when it comes to runs and batting average. So that's a good start for a Nerfy. Let's be honest, it's a good start. That's what you want. You don't want hot bats for a Nerfy. So we'll hop over to pitchers to see what they've been up to. Medina's going out here. He's pitched a whole bunch of games in June. You can see he gets roughed up some. Let's be honest. He pitches a gem, gets roughed up. Pitches a gem, gets roughed up. Pitches a gem, gets. No, he doesn't. Yeah, so 3 out of 6, he's been roughed up a little bit. Then the other ones he pitches once. So, and I recall watching this dude, and he was assaulting. It was the Angels game. Yeah, it was this one right here. He blew the Nerfy because he was literally assaulting the Angel batters with the baseball because he hit one it almost in his head and then he hit two more almost in their head and he had no control that day. So since he's the one pitching, I'm gonna pass on the Nerfy in this game. It feels weird saying that, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pass because Medina can't throw a ball straight for some reason sometimes, and I can't. No, he might come out and pitch a gem. I don't know, but Povich on the other hand, even he gives up runs. 5-6, 5-0 against Atlanta. You can see what he's done. He gives up runs too. So yeah, we're not taking a Nerfy. No, we're doing our due diligence today. We're doing our research. We see the bats are where they are. We see the pitchers where they are. What's the total? 9? Oof. 9 with pitchers that kind of give up runs in Medina and Povich, but the offenses are not that good right now. So I think I'm going to take an under of 9. I don't know if they can get to 9 runs because... And under 9s, you can get under 9 at minus almost even money right now. Yeah, we'll take under of 9 in this one. Prop wise, do I even want to mess with props in this game? To be honest, this isn't the best game because Baltimore's kind of fallen off a little bit here recently. Let's pop over. Medina, his strikeouts. What are the strikeouts? What are they doing? 8 and 7.3. Yeah, we're not looking at strikeouts. Hits. No. Earned runs. Maybe. What's his walks? That's a thing I want to see. Yeah, right there. This dude has been walking. He has no control. Over 1.5 walks. You know what? I'm fading Medina today. Over 1.5 walks. I haven't taken a walk prop all year, but I'm taking one today just because I've watched this guy almost end people with the baseball. So, yeah, his walk prop, and we know that Baltimore is typically in the top 7 when it comes to strikeouts, which means they don't strike out, which means they walk more. So, yeah, we'll take his over walk prop. Povich, on the other hand, he doesn't have much of a catalog of games to look at when it comes to things, so we'll pass on him. So, all right, for this one, we're going to take the under of 9, and we're going to take Medina over 1.5 walks. What is the odds on that first before I commit to that fully? Let's pop over and look. Ooh, okay, yeah, it's a high one. It's up there. But we're going to take it, so why not? We'll take it. Sometimes you need to hit a lit before you hit a 3, so we'll take that. So under 9, and Medina over 1.5 walks next game. All right, next up we got Detroit and Cincinnati. One site has my starting today. ESPN, Outlier, they don't know who's starting. None of them have been updated yet, so this one's going to be kind of hard to do, but we'll do it. Hunter Green is pitching for Cincinnati, that we do know that much. Nerfy is 46.7. Not well, we don't know what the pitcher is. Odds, we see Cincy is a pretty moderate favorite at home, 9 with 9.5 out there for your total. The bats, they're both over 5, 8 and 9, 5.7 and 5 runs in the last 3 for 8th and 9th in the majors, 276 and 192. Somehow Cincy's still scoring runs when they can't hit the ball. I don't know how they're doing it. It's amazing. So it's magic. It's got to be. What else could it be? There's no other way. So unless they're getting on walk and then they're stealing double bases, which they could be. I mean, LA is pretty good at that. So either way, you can see they're both striking out a good bits. So we can look at some Hunter Green strikeout props. Detroit has the batting average advantage. They're both the same when it comes to runs. We don't know who's officially pitching for Detroit. We think it's going to be Mize, but I need more official. I need more sites saying this. So let's pop over to, let's look at Green. Let's look at his numbers. So we can see he hasn't faced Detroit, but 5-4-2-0, 7-6-4-1. Strikeouts are there. He's got some numbers. So he gives up some runs. He's had a couple gems. So let's pop over to Outlier and look at his stats. 7.5 is his K prop. Why? 10.3 for Detroit. That makes more sense. 7.5. He's only hit 3 times out of 10. I can't do that. That's too much. That's too rich for my blood. Can I get an alt line of 6.5? What's 6.5? 194. Yeah, no, we're passing on that. Sorry, can't do it. Not gonna do it. Hits. No, not doing that. Earned runs. What are these books setting today? These odds are whack. Yeah, no, we're going to pass on that. So, all right. So this is one of those games. Since we don't officially know who's starting for Detroit, I can't really jump into it. So for me, I'm going to play it safe. I got plenty of things to bet on. I got plenty of games already bet. So I'm just going to take my money and skip this game completely, pass, move on to the next one. All right, next up, we got the Giants and the Guardians. We got Harrison against Allen, 4-3 versus 8-4. Nerve fee 54.8, and we'll come back to it. Odds, we can see Cleveland is a slight favorite at home. 8.5s across the board for your total. Let's look at the bats. Giants, 3 runs a game in the last 3 for 23rd in the majors. Meanwhile, Cleveland, 4 runs a game for 16th. Advantage Cleveland. 172 versus 277. Cleveland has a 105 points higher batting average in the last 3 games than the Giants, who are 28th in the majors right now. Cleveland is 7th in the majors. 12 strikeouts a game for the Giants. They have been woeful when it comes to the bats striking out wide. They struck out 14 times in the last game yesterday, and only 6.3 for Cleveland. They were around 10 or 11. They're getting better. So overall, the Giants are struggling with the bats. That's the main schedule. That's what we see here. Cleveland's about average, a little above average. Giants, they're down there. So let's look over at the pitching, see what we got going on here. Harrison's going out there. Has not faced Cleveland recently, but you can see I don't think it matters because dude has been giving up runs. 5-3, 12-4, 8-3, 4-1 against Houston. Not bad. You know, we know how hot Houston is. So So you can see what he does. Logan, on the other hand, 6-3, 9-6, 4-3. We got 2 pitchers to give up runs, a lot of runs. So, and it's what's the over under in this one? 8.5, and we got an offense that is struggling, and another one that's middle of the road, and 2 pitchers that are pretty not good. Let's look at props. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna prop it up. Kyle Anderson, all I have is a strikeout prop. That's all I have is strikeouts. So this is Giants. So let's see. Cleveland. Yeah, nope. 3.5. I don't think so. That's a pass. I'm just going to X out that screen. We don't even need you. Logan Allen, earned runs, 2.5 against Cleveland. Against the Giants. But the Giants, you see the Giants are terrible right now offensively. So, no. Strikeouts. 4.5. You're not really a strikeout dude, though. That's what bothers me. So I can't really do that either. Hits. No, because I don't trust that either. So I don't like any props in that one. I don't like a total in this one because we have one ice cold and one moderately cold offense. 2 pitchers to give up runs. What about the favorite? Who's favored? Cleveland's favored. They have the bats. Who's better? If I had to pick a pitcher who's better, let's look. We got Logan Allen, who's 6-3, 9-6, 4-3 in his last 3 games. What's Harrison in his last 3? Yeah, okay. This is one of those ones I have no clue. This is just a terrible game all around. I'm going to pass completely on this game and just move to the next one. All right, next up we got the White Sox and the Marlins. Crochet against Chirinos. You can see the stats there. Nerve V 57.8. Look at the odds. We see Chicago is pretty decently favored. It's because of the pitcher. Total 7s with a 6.5 out there. Whew. You don't see many 6.5s in baseball, but when they're out there, that is wild. Looking at the bats, we see Chicago 5 runs a game in their last 3 for 9th, batting 275 as a team for 9th their last 3, 9.3 strikeouts for 20th. Miami's only getting 3 runs a game for 23rd. They're batting 218 for 21st, and they're striking out 10.7 for 26th. What do I see here? Chicago is favored in the bats. Miami's striking out a good bit against a strikeout pitcher today. Might have to look at those props. So, first off, pitchers. Yanni here has only done 3 games. He's not been bad. Let's be honest. 8-2, 3-1, 9-3. These are good numbers. He might be a pretty decent pitcher for Miami. So you see what he does. It's nothing great, but these are actually really good numbers. Let's be honest. Crochet, on the other hand, we're looking at strikeouts. That's all we're looking at here right now because you can see the games he's been pretty good in. I'm convinced he will not be wearing the White Sox uniform come the trade deadline. I am convinced in that, unless for some reason they just want to pay him. So, yeah. Let's look at the odds. The bats are favoring Chicago. The pitcher favors Chicago. He's good. No, he's not bad. I'm telling you right now. So this is a good pitching matchup. But the main thing I want to look at, let's pull them up. Come on, outlier. Show me what I want to see. Over strikeouts, 7.5. Ooh, I don't think it matters. What's the odds? What's the alt line? What's 8.5? Because you see Miami strikes out 10.7. That's 26 in the majors. Now you get to face this guy. Yeah. I think I might even do a ladder in this one because let's start it off. 7.5. Yeah, and this is against Cleveland. He got 11. Cleveland doesn't strike out much. 11 against Baltimore, 10 against Boston, 13 against Seattle. Let's pump the brakes now. Seattle. 11 against Colorado. Okay, so 7.5 sure, 8.5 half unit, maybe a half unit, 9.5, maybe a quarter unit. Double-digit game today, we think. Could happen. So I think we might do that. I think that's a thing. Yeah, we're gonna figure out real quick how to do a crochet ladder, because I am going to do 7.5 for sure. I think I will put half a unit on 8.5, and I think I'll put a quarter unit on 9.5 and a quarter unit on 10.5. That's it's going to be a wild ride today. So let's I'll do that off screen. So so we're doing a crochet ladder of K's. So that's what we'll do for that. Yanni, let's look at his stats. Let's see what he does. Strikeouts. Is he a strikeout dude? I want 2024. 8-9-3. He's facing Chicago. I told you he's not a bad pitcher. This is why I'm not taking a side today. I don't really trust the side because Yanni's not bad. I can see why the under is 6.5 and 7 out there, because this dude's not bad at all. So, and we see that the bats are where they are. You can see these numbers. These numbers are good. His strikeouts, 6.54. Earned runs, yeah. Yeah. No, that's all we're going to do. This game, all we're going to do is a crochet ladder. We're not going to take Chicago on the money line. One, I don't want to bet on the White Sox money line. I know I'm like the White Sox whisperer. I don't take... I've picked like 3 of their last wins. So this one I'm laying off because Yanni's pretty good. Miami could do things. I'm just going to take a crochet ladder and hope Crochet just deals today and pitches like 8 innings and strikes like 14 dudes. So that's what we're going to take today. Move to the next game. Next up, we got Toronto and Seattle. We got Yariel Rodriguez. I was thinking UFC Yair Rodriguez for a minute. Against Seattle, against Emerson Hancock. Apparently he finished right in the Declaration of Independence, decided to play baseball today. So that's what we have today. You can see the innings. Neither one's pitched that many innings because in the Murphy is 65.5. Odds, we can see Seattle slightly favored, 8.5 straight totals. Look at the bats. They are pretty cold. Toronto, 2 runs a game. Seattle, 3.3 runs a game. 193 versus 211 on averages. Seattle's better on those stats. There's still Seattle when it comes to strikeouts, though. 12.3, 13 yesterday. So we have the strikeouts there. Let's look at the pitchers. See Emerson Hancock. Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, look at him. That dude clearly signed the Declaration of Independence this week. That's what he did. His game log, he pitched 1 game since May 7th, and he did 7 innings against the White Sox, 6-2. Good numbers. That's not bad. His counterpart, Yariel, also 1 game on July 2nd for 6.2, and then 1.1. So, yeah, we don't have any stats on these dudes. That's concerning, which means we don't have props on these dudes. So I can't even look at props because I need more than 1 game for these guys. The 1 game they both pitched was pretty good. The bats are pretty for this one. The odds, I can't really take a side if I don't know what they do. So I can't take a side. I can't take a total. I can't take props. I'm not going to take a Nerfy in this one. So because, wait, do I take a Nerfy? Let's look at these pitchers. I feel like gambling a little bit. So you can see he pitched 1 game, 6 for 2 against Chicago. That's not bad. Yariel, 6 for 2 and 1, not bad. And it was Houston. He did good against Houston. That was 5 days ago. And Houston's hot, so okay. We're cooking here. We're cooking something. Okay. 2 runs for Toronto, 3 for Seattle. They both in the bottom 5, both 7 in batting average. All right, that's what we're gonna do. We're going back. And it's 65. Okay. We're gonna take the Nerfy in this one. We're gonna trust these pitchers have great games, just for the first inning at least. I don't care what happens after that. We're gonna trust the bats stay bad. Take the Nerfy. We're going to pass on everything else and move to the next game. All right, next up we got Philadelphia and Atlanta. We got Suarez against Schwellenbach. Can't even fit his name on the screen. It's so large. 10-2 versus 1-4. Let's Nerfy's 35. Yerfy's 16. Yeah, no, not with these pitchers. Not with Ranger. You crazy? Odds. Braves slightly favored. Might as well call it a pick 'em. 8.5 with the 8 out there for your totals. The bats. 5 runs a game for Philly in their last 3 for 9th, while batting 270 for 12th. Atlanta 3.7 for 19th, while batting 263 for 14th. Strikeouts are both 10 strikeouts a game. So what do we have? Slight advantage in runs for Philly by 1.3 runs. Bats the same, strikeouts the same. So really there's no advantage overall. So pitching, maybe there's an advantage there. We'll start with Spencer here. Has not faced Philly, but we can see 7-6, 4-2, 3-1, 8-4, 5-4. Dude's probably going to give up 3 to 4 runs just based on averages of what he's done and who he's faced. Probably 3-ish, maybe 3.5, 4 runs. Looking at his counterpart, Suarez, I don't know what happened in this game. This was Miami's doing that. Another game where Miami just teed off on somebody. Before that, 2 innings. He only pitched 23. 8 for 2, 6 for 1, 6 for 1, 8 for 2, but 10 for 6. Ooh, so we got to see, is he going to bounce back? Because the good pitchers they'll have a rough game. They'll come right back and pitch like a 6-1. So that's all. What I am noticing here is he gives up hits. He'd give him at least 6 hits a game. That's what I am noticing. So what I'm going to do right now is pop on over to the old outlier over here, and we're going to pull up Ranger here. We're going to look at his hits, and I want his 2024, what he's done. You can see his hits have gone up over 5.5 is price picks. But yeah, that's just kind of high. Before that, he was good, and all of a sudden, he pitches a gem that is terrible. So, okay, no. What else is the rest? Let's look at his Ks. Strikeouts, gotta scroll down for him. 4.5, but I like trends, and Suarez is trending down hard right now, so I think I'm going to leave his props alone just because of that. But we will look at old Spencer over here, see if he's done anything good. And he only had 6 games the entire year, so it's really kind of hard to see what we got here. So he's gone over 4.5. Neither team, they're both striking out a good bit, but do you really want to take against Philly right now? I don't know. This is one of those weird ones because to me, nothing is standing out. We saw the bats are pretty close in a lot of areas. There's nothing that really stands out in the bats. Pitchers, I would say Suarez is better, but in the last few games, he has been awful. To the point, he is trending hard down, and Schwellenbach gives up runs, so I don't really want to touch an 8.5 because I don't trust it. This game feels weird to me. It feels weird. I'm just going to lay off and move to the next game. Next up, we got Milwaukee and the Dodgers. We got Peralta against Paxton. 40.5 Nerfy, maybe. Looking at the odds, we see Dodgers are slightly favored. Might as well say I pick them. Total 8.5 out there across the board. Bats, 3.7 versus 5.0. Dodgers have the advantage. They're 9th versus Milwaukee's 19th in the majors in their last 3 games. 212 for 22nd for Milwaukee in their batting. Dodgers 227, no real advantage there. 7.3 versus 9 on strikeouts, no real advantages there either. 1.7 difference. So really the only thing we have is Dodgers getting a little bit more runs, but that's not much of an advantage. So both bats are pretty close. So we have to go look at the pitching, see if there's an advantage. We start with Peralta here, has not faced the Doyers. So 4-3, 4-3, 10-6, gem against the Angels, but it's the Angels. Angels are kind of cold during this stretch. 4-2 against Texas, 2-1 against the Cubs, and this was the Cubs 7 days ago, and we know the Cubs are kind of hot right now. Pretty decent numbers. Paxton roughed up against San Fran, 12 for 9, 3-0 against the White Sox, 2-1 against Colorado, 2-1 against Texas, 6-7-6 against Pitt. So he has chances he can get blown up pretty easily. Peralta only has 1 game he got blown up, and that was Cincinnati, and he gave a couple 3-ers against Detroit and the White Sox. Outside of that, what's the total? 8.5 in this one. I don't trust the side. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not touching a Nerfy. I'm not touching a side because I don't really trust either side. We know the bats are pretty much equal. To me, the pitching is, the pitching is about equal to me too. So let's look at some props, see if anything stands out there. So let's pop over to Paxton first. Strikeouts, 4.5. I don't know. Oh, that's under. Let's go over. No, I'm not touching that. And I don't like going under props. Betting for unders feels like you're rooting for nothing. And even baseball, total unders, it feels weird. I do it to make sense, but I hate it. Let's see. Paxton hits, earned runs. 2.5. What's the Dodgers bats right now? 20th batting average with 9. 5th for 9 for 5 runs. I need the batting average to be above 227 for this. So, yeah, nothing on Paxton. Let's pop over to Peralta here. Earned runs over. No. Strikeouts. That's a thin line. He is consistent with his strikeouts, is he not? And hits. Yeah, I'm not doing that number. So the props are going to be a no-go. The odds, the side's going to be a no-go. The bats are pretty medium. Again, nothing's feeling good in this game. I think I'm going to end up passing on this game too and just move on to the next one. Next up, we got Kansas City and Colorado. We got Lugo against Gomber, 11-2 versus 1-5. Nerfy, 49. Maybe with these pitchers. Maybe. We'll see. Odds. KC, pretty heavy favor on the road. 10.5 the total across the board. We're in Coors. What do you expect? Batting, we see 4.7 for KC, the last three for 13th. Colorado, 2.7 for 26. KC's batting 265. Colorado's batting 258. Colorado's batting decently, but they can't score the runs. Interesting. 5 strikeouts a game for KC because they don't strike out much. Colorado 7.7 for 12th. They're up and down strikeouts. So what do we see? KC is getting 2 more runs a game. They're batting slightly better, and they don't strike out as much. So KC has the slightest advantage with the bats. Look over the pitching. We should have a big advantage here. We have Lugo going there, has not faced Colorado, but 6-5 against Cleveland, 8-4 against New York, 6-2, 6-2, but a couple gems his last 2 games against Miami, but Cleveland, 10 strikeouts against Cleveland, and Cleveland doesn't strike out much, so that's impressive. Gomber, on the other hand, his most recent games, 5-3, 6-4, 11-8, 5-4, 8-5, 9-4. His best game was 5-3. That was his best game, and that was June 2nd. Since then, he's given up at least 4 runs. Tell me his earned run is at least 3.5. Just please tell me that. So let's look. Hits, earned run, over 3.5. Yep, done. Taking it. Don't care. So, all right, I'm taking Gomber over 3.5 earned runs, just because he has been giving up a lot of earned runs, and now he's facing KC, who is at least middle of the road on bats. That's what I want, at least middle. 265 I can work with. So looking back over, let's pop up over to this screen. What's his hits looking like? 9, 8, 5, 11, 6, 5. Oh, let's see if his hits. Which one looks better? We have hits. In his last 10 over, he was good for a while and give up hits, and then he got rough. But his earned runs, he's been rough in his last. June was a rough month for him. He started off great, but I was hyping him up too. Say, oh, Gomber's not bad, and all of a sudden, yeah, let me show you this. So strikeouts, no, because we know Casey doesn't strike out much. I'm not betting under 3.5 strikeout prop ever again after last night, never. So no. Let's look at Lugo. What's he got? What's his strikeout prop? 5.5, and we know that the Rockies are they're up and down. Yeah, 5.5, and he struck out 10 against Cleveland, 8, 12 against Angels. You know what? We're going Gomber over 3.5 earned runs and Lugo over 5.5 Ks today. That's what we're going to do in this game. Odds, I'm not going to take KC on that big line. I'm not taking a total because is it me or the Coors Field total's been high, but they haven't been hitting. So, and when they do hit, they hit by a lot. So I'm going to leave those alone. We're going to take the 2 props. Gomber over 3.5 earned runs, Lugo over 5.5 Ks, and just move on to the next game. Next up, we got Arizona and San Diego. We got Fault against Waldron. Nerfy 52, maybe. Odds, we see that San Diego is slightly favored at home, 7.5 with some 8s out there as your totals for the bats. Arizona, they lost yesterday somehow, but still 9.7 runs in their last 3 for first, including 8 yesterday. San Diego 6.3 for fifth, including 10 yesterday. 339 versus 333. They're second and third when it comes to batting averages. 8.7 versus 5.3 on strikeouts. Arizona strikes out a little bit more. So the bats are both on fire. There's no real advantage. Both are hot. Looking at the pitchers, Brandon here, Fault, however you say it. I think it's Fault. So you can see how he's done recently in the games he's pitched. 5-4, 9-5, 6-1, 5-3, 5-4, 5-1. He gives up runs. That's all I see. I see he's giving up at least, I can see him giving up at least 2 to 3 runs in this game. And Waldron has been better, put it that way. 2-1, 2-1, 3-2, 5-1, 5-2, 6-3. Couple home runs against Boston. Struggle a little bit there, but you can see he's been better. So I would say Waldron has the advantage of the pitching, slightly, albeit. However, the odds are 8 and they're 7.5. So we're doing the same thing like we did for the Houston, Minnesota game earlier, because when the bats are this hot, show me the pitchers can stop it, because 9 dudes are batting 339 as a team in the last 3 games, 317 all week. On the other side, 9 dudes are batting 333. When both teams are hot and the total 7.5, I don't care where the pitchers are. Again, 2 Cy Youngs could be out there. You got to shut down 18 dudes that are all swinging the bat pretty well. So if they shut them down, congratulations, take my unit. We're taking the over in this game. It's 7.5s out there. We got to do it. So that's what I'm doing. We can do whatever you want. I'm doing this. So I'm taking the over. I'm not going to take a side. Nothing. I don't like the sides at all. We will look at the props though. Always got to look at the props, because see if there's anything that stands out. So Waldron, earned runs. He's been under this, but not with these bats. We ain't taking that. We over, maybe. Strikeouts. He's been good on strikeouts. What? Arizona does strike out decently now. And Waldron does have that, what does he throw, the knuckle, I think is? There was an article about how great a pitch it is. It's hard to hit because he's doing it so well. So 3.5, he did 3 against Boston, 2. That might be a fun one to take because he has been doing decently. And Arizona has been striking out a little bit. So, dude, you know what? Waldron over 3.5 strikeouts. What's the number first before I officially add it? 165. Ooh, that's some high numbers. But hey, if you gotta do what you gotta do. So what's 4.5? 4.5, you can get all the way up to plus money. So yeah, we'll stay at 3.5 though. So yeah, that's good numbers there. Hits, no. Walks, that's consistent, but no. Let's look at his counterpart. Let's look at old P. Brandon here. That is consistency at its finest right there. Strikeouts. It's not Seattle. If it was Seattle, yes, it's San Diego. We know San Diego is in the top 3 almost always in strikeouts. So no, can't do it. Earned runs. Let's pop back over. Earned runs. No. Yeah, I got what I want. We're going to take the over 7.5, and I'm going to throw Waldron over 3.5 strikeouts. And that's all we're going to do today. All right, that's it. All 15 games broken down. Video a little longer than usual, a little ramble, a little bit more. The coffee kicked in early today. So drop a like, subscribe, share this with somebody you know who's paying for picks, because I do this for free. I don't even give out picks. I give out information. I give out data. And then I tell you who I'm taking. If you choose to take it, that's on you, not on me, because I tell you, I'm just giving you data. So also check out the link in the description for Outlier, because they are awesome. They're amazing to work with. Beautiful system, beautiful data. I'm glad I have it. It's helped me out tremendously. It's a free trial. Why not check it out, right? So also for the recap people, recap time. Let's go ahead and jump on that. So Boston, New York, I'm going to take the Nerfy, and we're going to take Boston plus 1.5. Houston, Minnesota, we're going to take that over of 7.5. LA and Chicago, we're going with the Cubbies on the money line. New York and Pittsburgh, we're going to take Pittsburgh on the money line. St. Louis and Washington, that's a pass all day. Tampa Bay and Texas, we're going to take Bradley to get over 5.5 strikeouts. Baltimore and Oakland, we're not taking the Nerfy. We're going to take under 9, and Medina to get over 1.5 walks. Detroit, Cincy is a pass. San Francisco, Cleveland is a pass. Chicago and Miami, all we're doing is a crochet ladder. We're going to put 1 unit on 7.5. I'm going to put half a unit on 8.5, a quarter or 0.25 units on 9.5, and 0.25 units on 10.5. So all in all, it's going to come out to 2 units on crochet basically. So, but I'm just going to ladder it out. So Toronto and Seattle is going to be the Nerfy, nothing else. Philly and the Atlanta, pass. Milwaukee and the Dodgers, pass. KC and Colorado, we're going to take Gomber over 3.5 earned runs and Lugo over 5.5 strikeouts. Arizona, San Diego, we're going to take the over of 7.5 and Waldron over 3.5 strikeouts. Moneyline parlay, I have not figured out yet what I want to do. When I do, I will probably pin it in the comments, because I got to look at these and see who I really want to put in a parlay. So, but that's the recap. Again, drop a like, subscribe, check out Outlier, the link in the description. Share this video to people because they need to see it. You shouldn't be paying for picks anymore. There's too many people out there doing this for free. Stop giving your money to people who are scamming you. Just stop it. So either way, we will do all that, and we will see you tomorrow.